The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know that my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. And there you have it, Ezekiel 25:17. Thanks so much for joining us today, folks. I appreciate you returning for yet another video. I'm your host, CDB. Thanks again. And if you're brand new, I hope you'll consider subscribing below. So, as you might have figured it out, today we're going to be using the First Shave soap, the soap. I'm not going to say MF all day today. I said it in the unboxing. I'm not going to say it 100 times today, but we'll get into maybe some salty talk here. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, First Canadian Shave. There is your name. Great, great scent on this soap. It's based on Creed. Now, how you pronounce this particular Creed, I actually looked it up, and people say it many, many different ways. And the closest I could get to it was Malaysian or something like that. I actually looked it up on how do you say, and there was all sorts of different ways to pronounce that Creed scent. So you pronounce it however you want, but it is very, very nice. We'll give you the notes right here, which include bergamot, lavender, green mandarin, musk, sandalwood, and maybe some other stuff. Terrific scent, really nice for me, citrus forward. And I would say out of the tub, about 4, I have bowl lathered it, and it actually wakes up, and it actually smells better once lathered. So this is the First Canadian soap that you've heard so much about. Now, right now it's sold out, but I'm sure they will begin taking pre-orders soon. I think the splash is still available right now. So if you want this soap, just stay tuned. I'm sure it will be available for pre-order again soon. Really nice label. This comes to you from First Canadian. It is $23 Canadian, $17.59 US, which on our price chart is a fair price of $4.39 per ounce. And this has some nice ingredients, which we'll put right here. It's a tallow-based soap. You got buffalo milk, shea butter, lanolin. I try to highlight some of the ingredients that I like personally. We won't use a pre-shave today because I don't think we've used this base from First Canadian before. We're going to be using the Weck. So if I cut myself or do some bloodletting, it's not going to be the fault of the soap. It'll be the fault of you know who. And really, it's never the fault of the soap. It's always you. It's rarely your equipment. And so we got our misting action going there. Glen Helly Mister. And this soap has been somewhat controversial. Ironically, not really because of its name, because it was banned in the rich man Facebook group. And again, let me just say this when I speak to that. I always say that I believe groups have the right to moderate as they see fit. I really do. But the way this came about was just really kooky and wild, and some of our Canadian friends, in my view, kind of got thrown under the bus. People that I talk to on a daily basis, and some that I have known for years, were kind of accused of rabble-rousing and creating problems in the Rich Man Face group. And look, I know people are afraid to speak out. I'm not one of those people. I'm just not. And so, as a result, the soap was banned because, the Rich Man group wants to keep it family-friendly, and I absolutely support any group's decision to do that if they see fit. But really, the way some folks were characterized as part of this was, I think, unfair. And really, it drove me to get this soap in support of my Canadian brothers. And I watched the live video that Rich and Tim Delaney did, and I really couldn't believe it. I had to watch it a second time. It blew my mind. And so from that point forward, I haven't really posted anything in the group. I'm still in the group as of now, but there's so many things to really get into. And we'll talk about it. Again, I'm not one of these people that's afraid to speak out. I don't like to do it because I don't like to bring up anything that's not fun. But sometimes, you got to stand up. And sometimes you just have to understand that people don't agree on things. That's okay. And you give your opinion and then you move on. The blade today, Persona Hair Shaper. And we will hope to be on our game today, because if I'm not, we will bleed, assuredly. And this is such a smooth cutting razor, just tremendous. It is the Weck Hair Shaper, if I didn't mention the model. Anyway, speaking a little bit about the soap here and my fellow Canadians, they were just, what eventually came about was the soap was banned in the Richmond Facebook group. You can't post it. They didn't want it talked about, and they even went so far as saying if you support those people or talk about it or challenging, you would be removed. And they said they were ready to kick people out and so on and so forth. And when like Justin, the Red Island Shaver, was, sort of asking what the rules are, or can you post some rules, they kind of called him out and said, you don't get to decide. It's Rich's group. And I agree. While Rich created the group, in my opinion, any group, including the ones that I have created, and I've created quite some large ones, the Wet Shaving Enablers Buy, Sell, and Trade, for example. You might start a group, but the group becomes, the group really, in my view, belongs to the members. It doesn't belong to you just because you create it. Now, I completely understand that you get to set rules and all those things. We all agree with that. But at the point, when you say basically I'm the dad and the dad gets to make the decision and it's my way or the highway, that's not for me. And to imply that people who have left the group and started their own group were failures and losers, I did not care for. And so that's why I don't participate anymore. I'm still in it for now, if for no other reason than to see what goes on. And, the family thing, and to call it a family, I don't know what kind of family that is, but in my family, we had discussions. My dad just didn't come down and go, it's my way, you're all out. If you don't like it, get out. That's not the way my dad treated our family. He was a firm and strong man and still is. But we would talk as a family, and we would, make decisions as a family. And sometimes, yes, there were rules that were passed down by my dad, but at this stage of the game, nobody's but my dad. And nobody's going to talk to me like they're my dad, but my dad. And that's plain and simple. Nobody is going to suggest that I'm the dad and it's my way or the highway, because that's just not the way you treat family, nor participants, nor people who are having a good time enjoying the hobby. And I know this is probably unpleasant for some folks to hear, and I know some folks aren't going to like it, but everybody tiptoes around and they're afraid to speak out, and I have never been one of those people that are afraid. Do I like it? No, I don't. But I've been waiting on this soap to air this. And just to say that, look, our Canadian brothers are deserving of respect in the same way we are. We are all cogs in the machine, cogs in the wheel, whatever you want to call it. We're not the wheel. I'm not the wheel. I'm just one part of the hobby. Just like our Canadian brothers are part of the hobby too. And people like Randy, Justin, the Red Island Shaver, Magic Mike, Jared, Lau, Sask Shaver, some of which I've known for years, were kind of called out, called down. Their voices were raised at Justin in particular during the live video. And I just said, no, that's not for me. That's not for me. And so they said their piece, I'll say my piece. And if they want to remove me from the group, they can remove me. But no one's going to tell me I can't speak about it. And no one's going to threaten to kick me out because I am speaking about it. Don't threaten to do it. If you want to do it, do it. But I found that to be very distasteful I did not find at all that the fact that they thought the soap was inappropriate for the group to be distasteful. I did not. That was fair, but the way that they did it, basically saying if you even talk about it, you're going to be removed. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can go watch it. That particular day, I said, that's enough for me. I've seen enough. And so that's really all I'm going to say about that subject. I just thought that people deserve more respect from that. And that is not the way you treat family, or at least in my family, we have discussions. We treat each other with respect and dignity. And I don't approve of anyone basically been told to shut up. If you don't like it, go away. That just doesn't set right with me. And yes, I will speak out about it. And I will speak out about it because others don't have the courage to do so, quite frankly. And others have had problems for a long time. And for whatever reason, they choose not to speak out about it. That's their decision. But it is not mine. And the idea that without a group, that I need the group to be successful, or if I'm in another group, it's going to fail. In fact, they were called failures. People that went off said, they were, so they went out to create another group and they failed, basically implying they're failures, and went on to say, there are many groups. That one is the best. It might be. But Lord of mercy, I've been out this for quite some time, and there are many great groups. And then enthusiasm in the rich man group is quite good. I mean, there's excellent shaving enthusiasm there. But I'm not going to stand by and basically be told, on one hand, this is a family, but two, get out if you don't like it. So that's all I have to say about that. Now let's talk about the soap. The soap is working beautifully. We've gotten 2 passes here with the Weck. We're doing well. I apologize to anyone who didn't want to hear that, but it needed to be said. And there just aren't very many people who are willing to speak out and say it. And there are many people with many stories to share, and they're reluctant to do so for who knows what reason. But I have never been the type of person to sit back and watch friends of mine be disrespected and talked down to. And I'm not going to start today. Just because I want to keep things positive here doesn't mean I'm going to be rolled over, and people with whom I've had relationships for years, and some of which I talk to on a daily basis, are still going to be accused of all these sorts of things. Conversations being recorded. It's ridiculous. My opinion. Now, there are also 2 sides to every story. I get that. But I'm just giving my particular point of view, and then we'll move on. The soap, magnificent. The scent is on point. It is fantastic. It is better once lathered. It smells better lathered than it does in the tub. Let me talk about Randy from First Canadian a little bit. Randy, in his interaction with folks, he is a true hobbyist. He is not there just to try to sell you something every time you turn around, although he does own a shaving company. I've talked to Randy a number of times, and he doesn't try to sell me stuff. He helps people with honing. He is there to give advice. Every post that he posts is not about trying to sell something, or his motivations are always in pursuit of selling things. And I respect that about him. But on the same token, I hope people, if they want to try this soap, they will try it and enjoy it. But I like the way Randy pursues the hobby from First Canadian. Like he's just one of us, He's not just here to make a buck off us. And I really appreciate that. So I hope you'll consider checking out this offering and others from First Canadian. And I can guarantee you, I will be trying more of these. And I will be having Randy on a spotlight. Because I think He's someone who, he does a lot. He hones razors, he restores razors, he makes soaps, he's making splashes. I mean, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, so I think it will be a good spotlight. And there aren't a ton of Canadian artisans, and they are our closest neighbor. And as you know, Canadians are known, this is sort of the irony of the whole debacle. Canadians are known to be nice people, and they are. And so, you know, I really like those guys, and I appreciate them. And I just wanted to say that guys like Justin, who I've known for years, I haven't known him personally for years, but I've, you know, he's had a channel for years. He has watched my channel for years. We have exchanged many a comment and message, and he's watched my channel through the trying times and the times where it wasn't so positive, and I thank you, Justin. And so, just as you were here for me when I came back, I'm here for you. And I just want all you guys to know that. I'm here for you. And I really appreciate all of you. Some of you I talk to every single day. Some of you I talk to less. But I appreciate every single one of our Canadian brothers. I know I didn't mention you all by name, but I thank you. Nice. Boy, this Weck blade, super, super smooth. Nice. I think that if you start using a blade like this, it will only enhance your skills, because it really requires a light touch. But if you give it that light touch, it will reward you with a phenomenally close shave. And that's really what we're after when it comes down to it, outstanding shaves. I like using this too because it is a challenge. Yes, it's more difficult than a straight razor. Yes, it is. And you must be on your toes when you use it. But I think what it's doing for me is just helping me develop a little more finesse and a little more light touch. And I think that will just improve. I'm for using as many products as you can, because I think you'll only get better with the more variety of different things that you use. Just my opinion. Okay, let me rinse. We'll come back and get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, we're back with the Lancaster towel. That was a phenomenal shave. Stand by. I got to get my splash. Stay tuned. All right, I got the splash, but first, of course, you know, we need the magic made by widgets. Ah, yes. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I like it. I like it. It helps get everything squared away. If you have any irritation, which we do not, because that was an excellent shave with no nicks, cuts, creepers, weepers, irritation, bubbles, troubles, and that's the way we try to do it every single day on this channel. I did hit it with the PAA alum with dry dock, which allows the alum to dry out so it won't continue to deteriorate the alum, which is working well. We're gonna close things out today with the splash, but before that, I don't think I told you the brush I was using. Envy Shave 8-ball, really, really nice. Nathan Clark makes a fine custom. Today, of course, we used, yes, you know what it is, the soap. Here it is. It was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. And we used the Weck, and we did well with it again. We're going to continue to use this until we get better and better and better, and that's the goal every day, to get better. And part of my growth, both as a shaver and a human being, is just to stand up, and do what is required. And sometimes you got to talk about things that are unpleasant and things that people won't like. Today is that day. Now, we finished with this splash. And when I did the unboxing for this, the splash smelled amazing. It is $19 Canadian. That is, I think, $14.51 US. This is not an alcohol-based splash. It's milky color. It's got witch hazel based, I think. Oh man, that smells. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. The aftershave brings it. This is distilled witch hazel aloe vera, glycerin, really, really nice. And of course your fragrance. Let's go for another round. We got to do it. Let me tell you something, folks. If you haven't tried First Canadian, it is well worth trying. With or without the drama that surrounded this soap, it is worth trying. It smells great, and the splash, in my opinion, is even sharper and better. I almost dropped it. That would have been bad because I would have had to buy another one. I want to thank everybody for joining me for this video. I apologize for having to cover that material, but I just couldn't. When I got this soap, I knew that was the time to do it. And from here, hopefully, we move on. I want to thank you again for joining me. I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way. But stand up, stand up. You don't have to take crap, people. Until next time, God bless.